Hey, happy Christmas Eve, everyone. Fake for Life here, doing a quick live stream of the newest MP figure. Literally just came out, and I think it's earlier than the release date, but thanks to Toy Dojo, my sponsor, being able to send some here to me directly, I'm able to do this live stream for you. So consider this an early Christmas gift from Toy Dojo and myself. Oh, I guess Takara Tomy too, since they have something to do with this. So really quick, the packaging pretty standard. We do see it's a Willys Jeep CJ3B, but really it's Hound, right? So MP-47 Cybertron Autobot Scout Hound. All the back images show off a lot of the accessories. Again, this following suit with the latest kind of trend in masterpiece figures, all coming with a ton of playability accessories and so forth. This is no different, so we'll get into that in a bit. I will note that this box is smaller than I was expecting it to be. I thought it might be like Ironhide size, but it's actually the same size as the new version 2 Bumblebee. Evil Ash, yeah, it could be more stuff to lose, but luckily, just like some of the other recent MP figures, it does actually come with a lot of storage. So here he is. Hey Matt, how's it going? Here is his stat card, as you can see. Pretty standard stuff. Nice artwork on the front. His instructions are pretty good. I forgot to, sorry about that. Hey Chad, how's it going? I forgot to mention, it does come with an addendum to the instructions. It does leave some pretty important stuff out, so I don't know why some of the stuff like here is pretty important. So pretty funny that they have that. It looks like whoever was doing the instructions for them also took their holiday break early. But pretty standard instructions. They do all the playability stuff kind of here for the most part, and the instructions on the back. Not going to go through that. And then the clamshell itself. Hey James, thanks. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas to those who will be celebrating in a couple hours. As you can see, a ton of stuff here. One notable thing that you'll notice right away is you get another spike. But just really quickly, you'll see that in comparison to the one you get with version 2B or with MP-45 Prime, a very, very stark difference in size. So you can see that the scale in car mode is going to be slightly different. He also comes with a second spike if you need one. This one is a holographic one. He comes with his soft top. Let's get Hound out himself. He's packaged in car mode or Jeep mode. He has a holographic cone, which works with the gun here. I'm just going to dump all this out. Yeah, that's throw that away. He comes with a spare tire. His gun mount. Actually, we'll put his gun mount on right now. And the spare tire has a tab here, which goes on the back left side of his car mode. And the spare gas tank pegs on right there. And then all these other accessories, like the blaster here. This works with the holographic cone. I think this is what he used to project that really big Autobot that they fooled the Decepticons with early in one of the episodes in Season 1. So put that off to the side. He does come with a couple of, I think, just spare side view mirrors. Merry Christmas, R. So just these, I think it's just because these might pop off. I can't read Japanese, so I can't tell. But from what I can tell, they're exactly the same. So I don't think you'll need to use these. They're on C-clips too, so I don't see the reason why you would damage them. But anyway, he comes with a little key, which is the key for the cage that he traps Ravage in. I'll actually show off the MMC or Ocular Max version of that cage and their Ravage. And then these are the two faces, extra faces. He kind of has a screaming face and a kind of a smirking face. I think the smirking face is the one I like the most. Hey Eddie, how's it going? All right, so quick 360 of this guy. He looks quite nice. He's actually a bit smaller than I was expecting. And I'll say this up front just because I know people are going to ask. I don't have Willys anymore or Willys anymore from Fans Toys. I got rid of that a few months ago, even before they announced this. So Apologies in advance. I'm not going to be able to show you a comparison with that. Really quick, some comparisons for alt mode. I brought out my Streak finally. If you guys have missed him, he is back. So he's a little bit shorter than Streak, but obviously way bigger in scale. That's why we need that bigger spike. Another Jeep that I have just with me is the Ocular Max Swindle or Fraudo. So this one's quite a bit larger, but I don't actually know Jeeps well enough to tell you if this is in scale or not. They look pretty close in scale though, from a layman's eye. And I guess the last thing I'll show, hey DC, is an MP10 mold, because I'm not going to transform my MP-45. You can see just how big he is in relation. So there we go with the alt mode. As far as the accessories he has, like I said, these just kind of peg in here. He does have wheels. They do spin. They're not rubber. They are plastic. And the ones in the back actually need to transform. It's very similar to the spare tire that we have here. A little bit different, but it's essentially the same kind of transformation we have. Very cool. Out of the box, one thing I did notice is he feels very solid, much better than, say, version 2B. Was it MP-46 or 44? I don't even know the numbers anymore, to be perfectly honest. We've gotten so many recently that I just don't remember it. MP-44 is Optimus, and then 45 is B, and 46 is Black Arachnia. In any case, this one feels a lot more solid to B, but I will say that the paint, out of the box, it came with a lot of scratches. There's some dust specks, some scratching here and there. So not the best in terms of overall quality of the paint, QC of the paint, and I worry about the durability, but I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think it's great, especially compared to the like third-party figures we had. I don't think he has any die cast, which is pretty much what you would expect from the first-party stuff. He does have the hood that does open, so that's a little bit of playability you have. And they even have some molded detail in here that I think this is kind of like the suspension. Even back here, very deep in here, which you might not be able to see due to the lighting, is they have some like kind of engine molded parts in the very back here, which they didn't really need to do, but it's very nice that they did actually do that. But yeah, you can see this yellow here is like kind of splotchy and scraped up. Some dust specks here and there. The tampos are really nice though. Other playability features, his turret or whatever gun can swivel around. It actually does have a hinge here that goes one way. And you can also articulate it at this pin here. The rest of the pins are really for transformation purposes or storage. For example, I think the way they want you to store it, and I apologize, I haven't had very much time with this, is you're supposed to bend this like this, I believe, for when you bring this in. Although honestly, I would have to check the instructions again. You basically fold this down a bit, or it could be something like this. Oh, this probably is it. Fold it up like this or something. The instructions say, and then you can put on the soft top. So the soft top really just is kind of cleverly molded so that you don't have any clips or anything, but you have little ridges here and stuff, and you just kind of slide it on, and it holds together really well. I was actually surprised. I was like, are there tabs or anything like that? Nothing like that. You just slide it on. This kind of locks into place on the front, kind of locks in all the way around, and it's pretty solid. I mean, it's not gonna stay on if I shake it like that, but if you just have it on, it does clip in very solidly. Like so. Yeah. The positive part about it is that it also has storage. So back here, you can tab in the wheel, the gas tank up here. The faces can go down here. I don't know if it's really necessary to show all that off. And the key down here. But you can get both faces up here. Even the gun can rotate, if you rotate it the correct way. something like this. Actually, I think this is it. You can store that, and the two faces will go back there. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But again, it has some storage, but you're still left with like this gun here, the cone, some of the extra pieces. So still a nice effort overall for them to give you some storage. Like I think the first time we got that might have been with like Ironhide or something. So, I have no idea what DC. I guess to try to make it as cartoon accurate as possible. The steering wheel does move a bit. The headrests do move a little bit, but that's really for transformation purposes. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we need to talk about in this mode? Not really. So, if there's nothing else, let's go ahead and get into transformation. The transformation is actually really fun, really clever. There are a couple places that a little like worrisome, but nothing crazy. I think overall it's much more fun to transform than say like Willis or something. Is it clinical? Is it essentially too big? So yeah, I didn't talk about these guys. So yeah, you can fit him in. The holographic one fits in. So he is about, I would say, 150% bigger than the one we have here. So scale-wise, he is bigger than he should be. This guy actually feels pretty solid. It's basically the same thing. It's just like almost like kind of an oversized KO feels like. It looks like he does have some magnets in his back. And then he also has peg holes in the feet, which I haven't been able to determine why they have that. But I'm sure they have a reason for it. And I don't know if this is a magnet or not, but whatever. But he has articulation almost exactly like we got with the smaller one. So I'm not going to go into that too much. No painted details on the face. Hey, Deluxe, you complete me as well. The question Chris Wu had is a really good one, actually. So can you transform with the accessories attached? The answer is with some. So you can have this attached, the wheel and the gun attached. I don't believe you can have the gas tank attached. I could be wrong, but if I'm remembering correctly. There is a specific orientation for this gun. You can see it's not just a regular tab. It's actually molded with a smaller side. So we'll go ahead and I'll try to show this off, but it's likely going to fall off. All right, so let's get into transformation. Let's talk about all this other stuff later. So the first thing we'll do is actually what they forgot to mention is you have to come in here and pull up on these seats and rotate these pieces out to the side before you do a lot of other stuff. So let's do that. You can flip this around and flip this down like so, and then just get them at like 90 degrees. And these are just going to hang out for the majority of the transformation. This kind of auto undone, but there are two tabs here. You kind of want to pull this up. That will release kind of the upper body from the lower body. And then lastly, it's kind of hard to see here with the wheel kind of in the way, but there is an over-under tab here. So you have to push up on the right side or pull back on the left side to release the left leg from the right leg. All right. So from here, we're going to start the transformation. You want to pull down on the foot. And this is where one place, you probably heard that click. It's this clearance issue of this little round piece coming around this flat piece. Either way you go, I haven't found a way to get it where you don't have to basically stress it when it goes over or behind this piece. It's just the way it is from what I can tell. If there's another way to transform it that's a little bit cleaner, that you don't have to worry about that, hopefully somebody can let me know in the comments when they get theirs. But it's not a big deal. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's a really cheap piece, and it's on an articulating piece, so it's not a huge deal. So once we have that foot down, fold in the footrests, and then we'll deal with one leg at a time. So we'll deal with this leg first. Go ahead and pull up on this filler piece here. Let's just rotate this up to get it out of the way. You get a better, clearer view of everything. So now you see the hips and the lower legs. From here, we're going to go ahead and spread out these wheels. And then one side will fold in. There's a bit of a clearance issue there. You want to fold that in and then fold this in here and then fold the other side down. So everything's kind of like squared off like so. Then you're going to bring this down to close that up. And then here, you need to flip open this little space filler there, and this will now come in, and there's a kind of a hook tab here, like so. There is some other storage options in the shin for the gun, but I'll show that off once we're in robot mode. All right, next up, what we need to do is kind of fold this around. So the seat's connected to this piece here. It's kind of like the toe, tip of the toe. You want to fold that down like so. Pull back on this rear piece, kind of the trunk, and then you want to pull this around. See, this piece is a little bit loose, looser than I would like, and it does tend to fall off. So, like I said, you can transform it, but I don't know why you would with it. So if it keeps falling off, I'll just probably get rid of it for now. So this whole piece is on a set of hinges. This one needs to flip all the way around until this side butts up against this side. So once you have that, you want to flip this through and kind of go like that. Before you close it up, you're going to transform this wheel. And let's see if I remember how to do this one. This one you split apart and you flip around the other way, the opposite way of the other wheels. So instead, you fold it on the outside. This will close up like so, making sure that the seat's above it. And then you can close this up. Like that. This piece will fold flat, and this round piece that we talked about, this actually comes through there. You can see there's a slot there and a little peg on the inside of the whole inside of the circle that pegs into this circle here. There we go. All right, from here, rotate at the knee joint inwards, or maybe I guess technically outwards 90 degrees, and then the foot also rotates 90 degrees to get everything kind of straightened out like this. And then with these double hinges on the ankles, collapse them in to sit it a little bit lower. And that's one leg done. Let's try to go through a little bit quicker on this one. If I remember correctly, you have to flip this and like this and something like this. So I think the reason why... Oh, okay. I kind of remember now. So from here, same thing as we did before. Let's deal with this stuff up here. Flip this up. Split the wheel. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of questions while I'm doing the transformation. I've only had like a chance to transform this guy 2 times each way. So my transformation is not as clean as I would like it to be. But it's actually fairly simple. So I'm happy about that. Close this up. All right, with the ankle, remember again, we're going to fold this in. This piece here will come around. So for if you have this tabbed in, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. Ah, dang it. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated. You need to, it's on a swinging hinge. You have to flip this all the way in, and then it has to flip around like so and fold it on itself like this. So it's kind of a U shape, I guess, like that, or C shape from the way we're looking at it now. Then you can go ahead and start collapsing it in the same way as before. Remember, this double hinge has to collapse in on itself. Like so. Close that up. Again, the issues with transforming with this is that there's also a little bit of a cutout here that you have to make sure that actually fits around the gun itself. Like so, this little L gap. And then we can close this up. Make sure... did I mess something up? Oh, I think I was supposed to fold that piece in. Darn it. See, I was trying to do it with all this crap in the way. This has to fold in first. There we go. Bring this around like so. And as before, we're going to rotate the calf or shin out and the foot out, and then rock that back. And that's the lower body. Like I said, the transformation is actually pretty clever. Nothing really crazy going on. It just gets kind of annoying if you have the accessory stored in there and trying to get that all fit. All right. So coming up to the upper body, let's just fold these in for now, just so they don't get in the way. And this is the only frustrating part about this transformation, I would say, is that you have to actually pull this front fender section out. But the way it's molded and the way this piece is squished in, it's really hard to get out without feeling like you're stressing something, because you have to get it over this lip, but it's on a double hinge that doesn't really allow you to do that. So once I get it out, you'll see it's kind of a L-shaped piece that has to squeeze in between here. So it's really odd. So just be careful with it, and then you swing it up on that double hinge so it sits a little bit higher. So you can't really get that toy look of the lower fenders, unfortunately. So if you guys like that, you might want to stick with the Make Toys. What was the Make Toys Hound? I don't know why this is not staying closed now. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. So once you have that up, now we can come to the back and kind of just explode everything here. So this piece will just kind of swing around and just get out of the way. This is obviously his missile launcher. It's attached to his head, which now infamously is known as kind of like the floating head. It's actually kind of cool, and I think it's a really nice engineering feat, and it actually works pretty well. So I'm not mad about it at all. But you can see the arms in here. What you're going to want to do is pull out on each of these. They come out, they swing on this hinge here. Just get these out of the way for now. Just pull them out, pull them out, pull them out. All right. Next, before we keep flipping through, let's go ahead and fold these gray pieces down. I just realized I now understand why they have peg holes. It's because you can put their feet, his foot, on these peg holes, so that he's not like just flopping around in there. So he can be on either side. Let me see if that actually works. I guess in theory it should work. In practice, it's actually too small. Okay, so maybe that's not it. Anyway, we'll just keep going. So once you rotate those pieces up, you can keep rotating this green shoulder piece, and you got to keep pushing it through, and it'll come around this ridge, and you'll have to get it over the ridge, and you'll feel a kind of a definitive soft click. So right here, you feel some resistance. You got to push that over that resistance just a little bit, and you can hear that kind of lock into place. You're supposed to do that. That's another part of the instructions that were part of the addendum. Same thing on this side, over that ridge, and then you can rotate at the bicep swivel to get his elbows positioned correctly. And since we're already here, let's go ahead and pull the hands out. The hands are just on a pulling mechanism. I wish there was a lock here. It has decent friction, but I think it was the same thing with Make Toys Hound, where it pulled out, but it didn't really lock into place. So that's one downside of this figure. All right, so let me see if I remember from here. I believe you have to pull the wheels in. And then this piece will flip up. So this entire section in the dash will flip up. This will flip in, like so. And you want it to be kind of all squared off here, because this is gonna fold down in between the two wheels. All right, is there anything else I'm missing up here? Oh, I did forget to bring, you want to bring the steering wheel down first. From here, lift up the windshield, which I didn't mention before. It can work like a real Jeep and flip down if you wanted it to, for kind of like off-roading. But this whole windshield piece assembly will flip all the way around. And once you have it here, you can flip up the dashboard again. And this windshield kind of clips in softly between these two ridges. So it kind of holds it in place. All right. Let's see. We want to straighten out the chest so that the molded detail on this gray piece is sitting very vertical. And that you just need to do that so that you can rock. Is it down or up? Yeah, I think it's this way. Yeah. Rock this down like so. Wait, is it the other way? I'm not remembering. I think it's supposed to be like this, but then looking at it now, it looks kind of funny. Let me do a quick check because I'm forgetting. Where's the box? Yeah, I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, so maybe I had it mistransformed before, and it's supposed to lock like this. Yeah, it's supposed to be like this. So I had a mistransform before. My mistake. Because you have to create this gap so that you fold the gray piece down into that and fold this closed. So apologies, that was mistransformed. Again, I'll make sure that that is corrected in my full review. But once you have that done, you have to come back here and you'll see this tab slot here, and there's a tab on the inside. You just need to push that up and in. You gotta pull out a little bit on this assembly here. You can kind of see where it taps in there. But yeah. And now we're basically done. The only thing we need to do is bring this gun assembly around, the shoulder assembly. This kind of folds out like so. Like this. And then this whole piece will come down. Once you have the head down, like that, the floating head piece. And if you do it correctly, there's really no gap here. You can't really see any gap here. From here, you're gonna fold this at this larger black joint around, and you'll see this tab will sit in here to keep that neck from floating. Doesn't really work all that well in practice, to be honest, because it's not that tight of a tab, but it does some semblance of a job of trying to keep that down. Lastly, the last piece of instructions that they added in the addendum is to flip all this around. Flip this piece back here, and then you have a little piece back here that you need to pull all the way back. And once that's done, you can rotate this around and have it face forward. And there we have finally our MP-47 Hound in robot mode. And I think he looks really, really good. He looks exceptionally cartoony. And it does have enough detail for me, like these pieces here, that are realistic enough that bring me a little bit back to the realistic cars that I really liked in the earlier part of the MP line. And I think it looks fantastic. The headlights, the grill actually is not perfect straight lines either. There's like some imperfections, but inside there you get some details of the grills. The windshield, no, the headlights are really kind of a nice reflective, and it's textured too. So it's not just silver paint. There's actually texture to make it look like a real headlight. So that's really nice. If you didn't notice, the Autobot logo is right here. Once you put Hound's head there, it disappears. A really small detail. From every angle, this looks really great. He has almost no backpack at all. I mean, he has the steering wheel, which is probably the biggest eyesore. But this reminds me a lot of the Make Toys one, I believe, in the way that it hides it and the steering wheel's out here. I'm trying to remember if that's the right way. And even the arms are pretty similar, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this guy looks awesome. Very clean. Nice closed off legs. The feet are pretty clean. Like, I think this guy looks really, really good. His hands also are traditional MP hands in the sense the fingers and the tab, but you can see his hands actually can rotate out this way. And the tab is not like stupid Bumblebee version 2 where you have to like partially close the hand and then put in the gun and then close the hand the rest of the way. This one's just a regular MP style tab and gun. So you can have that like so. One other accessory part is if you use the ab articulation, which we'll get to, you can flip around this little piece, bring out the key that we had before, and you can hook that on to the side. Very small detail. I don't know if that was wholly necessary, but that's there. The genius idea of using a soft top as a shield is how they're using this in robot mode. I don't really get it. How can a soft top really be an effective shield, riot shield? But it kind of works in the same way. You just tab it in. It's kind of hard to do right now because I can't reach in there. There we go. but you get the idea. He can hold this. Oh, I also noticed he has a hole here. I guess this is for assembly, but I'm wondering if you can mount his other gun on there, but it's in his foot now, so maybe we'll take a look at that once we get through reverse transformation. But yeah, I really like this figure. Aside from the QC issues, I think he's very, very solid. He looks the part. I think he looks overall better than Willie's, Fans Toys Willie's, and the Make Toys one. I don't even remember what the Make Toys one was called. Gundog, I think? Yeah, Gundog. But I think he looks fantastic. Can you leave the front tire out in bot mode? Front tire? I don't know, actually. I guess we can try. I forget how this is all clipped in. So let me lift this up real quick. Oh, I gotta rotate this up. All right, let's see real quick. We're taking a quick detour to see if we can actually have the wheels out in robot mode. I'm kind of forgetting how to... Already forgetting how to actually get this untransformed. I don't know if this would work, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I guess you could do it, but it would look a little funky, and you would be stressing some of the pieces here, but I guess this kind of works if you're really into that. So yeah, so you can kind of do it, but it looks a little funky. I don't know why I went on a detour to do that. I guess I aim to please. In any case, we need to put, we really want to put this in here. The main reason being that you want to have these tabs to secure the upper and lower body. So get that tab in here. That one's tabbed in. Close these up. Flip this around. Flip this up. All right. So let's get into articulation. We kind of saw a lot of it. His gun here rotates around, can angle up and down. They also show how you could store it some other way, like something like if you want to store your weapon like this. I don't know why you would want to store it like that, but they have this as a specific set of instructions there. Don't know why. So yeah, all these articulation points, you can use that how you see fit. His shoulders are really nice because they actually have a butterfly joint. As well as these pieces can move a little bit. He has a shoulder joint that goes up, can go around. Be careful just because you run into that fender from Fender. We showed before that he has a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, which get pretty far. He also has a elbow swivel, separate from the bicep swivel, which is nice. He has a wrist swivel. We said before he can get his hands out so he can do the Heisman if he wants. His thumb will rotate around. It's one solid piece, but it is hinged, so you can kind of do like a, I don't know, anime fireball, Kamehameha kind of thing. His pointer finger is separate from the other fingers, but they're all molded in one piece. Like so. He does have a full 360, and he can go both ways. Can't help but jab at Goose. He does have an ab crunch, which is awesome. He has a nice ab crunch. It goes about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit less than 45 degrees. And then he has a new style of hips, where instead of having hip flaps in the front, the entire hip kind of like rotates in. I will say that the ratchets here feel really kind of cheap, at least on this side. Mine feels sound and feel really crappy. This one feels slightly better, but it sounds kind of crappy. It does the job though. It holds very, very, very solidly. He does have hip skirts on the side that lift up and he can go out. That's just frictioned out, but pretty solid. He can't go backwards, unfortunately. So this can rotate in, but he can't rotate backwards. And unlike Optimus Prime, I don't know if he actually has a separate swivel or articulation joint from the hip itself. Like I can move this, but I don't know if that's intended to move separately. And it seems to always want to kind of go back. So I'm not sure if there's actually an articulation point in there. He also has that kind of hidden thigh swivel, which I love. Even with the boxy legs, it doesn't break up the look. But as you can see, like just using him just a little bit, there's paint chips here. This out of the box here, this yellow line here was not very good. Same thing with his forearms here. His paint chips on one of the arms. Oh, down here. So all this kind of stuff was the minor quibble I had with the paint. Hopefully it is a little bit more durable than we got with MP-44. But in any case, keep going. He does have a very nice knee bend, very deep. We showed it before for transformation, but he does have inward knee swivel. You can't rotate it outward, so don't try to force it. It can only go that one direction. The ankles we showed have double hinged, so you can get it pointed all the way down or almost all the way up using those two hinges. A very, very deep ankle pivot and can even go out a little bit. So exceptionally good as far as articulation goes, especially when we talk about the official MP line. He's really quite nice. Pig Peas put a random gun in the hand of an old MP. I do have Streak, so I do have my other Streak. You can see that he's a little bit taller than MP Streak here by a hair. Some other figures that I just have nearby just because I did that review of Gravestone. He's about head-to-head with their Carbots. MP-44. I think that scales pretty well. That's all the robot comparisons I'm going to do. If you have any other ones that would like to have comparisons in my full review, leave it in the description. Sportimus, I'm not going to go grab my Streak right now because he's behind a bunch of figures, but I'll try to do it for my full review. T-Man, hey T-Man, how's it going? I already showed the waist tilt, Chris Wu. Ironhide, I'll try to do that for my full review if I remember. What do you mean side to side? There is no waist tilt side to side. Nothing here. You can, if you mean this, I don't know what you mean, but there is no tilting side to side like Arachnia has. So really quick, he does have some other playability features. We already showed the key. You can lift this. You can lift his helmet up. The one thing I do think, there's a bit of a gap right here, and I wish the head crest sat a little bit more flush sometimes. It seems like it could sit a little bit lower. That's a small quibble, but if you lift this up, not only can you switch the faceplate, but you can, if you have a tool maybe, get in here and get the translucent face mask that he uses when he goes underwater. It's kind of a frosted blue. It's a fine hidden playability feature, I suppose. To remove the face, you'd really just pull straight out on it. Come on. Oh, all right. We're going to put the happy face on. Oh, sorry, you have to pull up on it, not out. I don't know why I said up, out. So you have to pull up on it. Close that down like so. So that's happy face. I think he has it for goggles, so you can see better underwater, not to breathe. Clinical. What other playability does he have? I don't know that. Oh, okay. So he does have one thing. So you can take this out, and you can disassemble the gun. And you're supposed to rotate the handle kind of backwards, so it's at a weird kind of angle like this. And you can open up the leg. So if you come up to the back of the leg and unhook this, and then pull out on each side, we'll have to do that for both legs. You can store this gun in 2 parts. So the barrel, which rolled all the way back there, we'll go ahead and peg in here, and that can close up. And then this one, you need to get the peg where the gun came detached. You need to get that one kind of squeezed in here. Let me see if I can show it on camera. You gotta, there we go. Something like this. Close that up, and you have storage for that weapon as well. So that's probably why they don't have storage for that here. The only downside is you still have this, which I can't see you storing that anywhere. That would be kind of funny, but that doesn't work. I wonder if it stores here. Oh, no. Yeah, so you'll still be left with this hanging around, but everything else seems to store pretty well. So let's see if we've missed any questions. Yeah, the live camera is awful. So that's why I typically, when I do live streams of like new figures, I'll do a full release that will be in 1080 and 60 frames per second. So I'm trying to catch up. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Ray. Hey, TM. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said I was going to show with MMC Ravage. So let me do that. I did actually bring it all the way down here. I can't compare to, I already compared to 44 earlier, so I'm not going to go ahead and bring him out again. So here he is with Ravage. I don't think this key is going to work here. Yeah, doesn't work. But they also are releasing the Ocular Max cell-shaded version very soon, along with the cage, the 2-pack. So if you want, you can check out my quick, very hysterical, very bumbling live stream review of the Ocular Max cage. Let's see. Please put MP-44 gun in hand of Hound or random guns. Why? I'm not going to do that. No, that's a really weird request, and I'm not going to bother doing that. I don't even have his gun anywhere close to me. No, I'm not going to compare him to a combiner. What do you think about the whole? I think, well, you need it for securing the 2 halves together. But I'm guessing, so you have another hole here and here, but I don't think it's for actual kind of storage. Can he stand on a roast potato? I have no idea what that means. Please put Hound behind Spike. I don't. Oh, you want him kind of pushing on Spike. I don't know if he can do that, but his articulation is quite good. Like I said, he does have butterfly joints, so I guess Spike's hand should technically be out like this, I think. What other head articulation? Oh, I think I did miss the head articulation. Thanks, Sportimus. He does swivel, and he does have I think a ball joint actually as part of the. Yeah, so he does have a ball joint, but it's very limited. So he does get very little bit of a bobble to either side and very little up and down. He can swivel left and right just a little bit before he hits this articulation point here. So you do have some limited articulation on the head, but I don't think it's anything that you would really need unless you're trying to do an exorcist scene with Hound, which I don't think anybody will. I think it's enough. The up and down, lack of up and down articulation is a bit of a bummer, though. So thanks for pointing out the thing that I missed, Sportimus. Gabriel, I don't have a Fans Toys mini bot. I don't think I have a single Fantasy Toys figure aside from Jetfire. That might be the only figure I have. I don't really care about the masterpiece, potential masterpiece Trainbot rumors. I don't care about him. Raiden or whoever he is. Chris, I'll try to do a comparison with MP-45B in my full review. All right, so it's already getting towards an hour. It's already very late for me, so I'm not going to compare to MP Megatron, no. You guys are making too many requests. His ankles are quite stiff. So, I mean, obviously you can shake the whole body, but as far as like holding poses, he can hold them quite well. Forward, backwards, he can get, like I said, very deep knee bends, so he can crouch down like that. He also has very good ankle tilts, so he can get really dynamic posing going on. Intangible, we did some of the transformation. Can you compare him with a real Hound? No, I don't have a dog, unfortunately. All right, so we're going to go transformation on the way back. If you missed the transformation on the way here, you can catch this once this goes live, and I'll also be doing a full review. All right, so let's see the transformation backwards. It is a pretty easy transformation. Let's go ahead and start with this thing up here, the missile launcher. Fold this up, fold this in and around itself. This little exhaust port back here, fold that up, fold this up like so. You kind of just want to bring this around and straighten this out. You'll eventually want to have it like this, but for now, let's just leave it like so. The head can flip up like that. Let's deal with the hands just because we have them here. Just curl up the fingers and remember to curl up the thumb as well and just press that in. Make sure they're square. And then you just want to rotate at the bicep inwards, 90 degrees, so that this kind of flap is showing forward. All right, let's come over here. Let's bring this piece around like this, bring the dash up, and we're gonna have to start separating some of the pieces here. So remember that this was tabbed in, so you wanna pull out very slightly on this piece to get it untabbed from the wheels. And then you can kind of just extend the whole body here. You wanna pull down in the middle to create this kind of rectangular shape here, like so. The reason why you need that is when you bring the wheels in, they tab in to those sections there. So apologize for having it mistransformed earlier. It's a very slight mistransformation, but I did have that wrong. All right, bring out these seats and sides of the car. Bring this up. Bring this out, these gray pieces. And then we're gonna actually have to rotate the shoulder piece in. So if you remember, this green shoulder piece is actually held behind by a ridge. You just want to slightly force it over that ridge. It's soft enough and that you're not going to damage anything. But you want to rotate that all the way in until you see that back part of the fender come through. You want to tuck in these sections like so that the shoulder fully goes into the back. And again, you're going to want the forearm piece without the stripe kind of looking like this. So make sure that this is kind of all aligned here. And then we can bring down this double hinged fender piece to the front. And again, this is the only frustrating part, is that the clearances here are just kind of weird. You just kind of have to shove it in like so. So same thing on the other side. Make sure to push that through the ridge. Kind of want to get it down like this. Remember, you're rotating this entire shoulder piece, this green piece, all the way through until you get it like that. Then we can go ahead and basically just shove this piece in. All right. like so. You can lift these side view mirrors up right now if you want, but that's basically the transformation here. You can bring in the head, bring down the dashboard where the head is also attached. Bring that down. That's going to tuck in like so. So the back of the head, or the face, is facing straight up. And like I said, this will come down like this now. Now that the head's tucked in, and these two tabs will eventually tab into the back of the car. But that's the upper body done. The lower body, again, is pretty simple, and I think it's pretty ingenious. So let's start with the foot. First thing you want to do is extend, so you have a little bit more room to work with. Extend the ankles on these double hinges. Untab this thing here. You can flip this up a bit, and then you just have to separate the foot. Remember, this is on a set of double hinges that you need to rotate all the way around. Oh, make sure you flip out this piece. Flip this piece all the way around. You'll know you got it all the way around when these ridges show up. There's these parallel ridges show up. So bring that around like so. Did I forget? Oh, because this side has the gun, you need to straighten out the gun here and then flip it around on this hinge and then have it fall off. I think it's like that. Okay. Like so. And then we're going to basically push back on where the seat connects. And again, once we get all this ridge piece out, everything should sit very square. And then you can pull the seat up and the headrest up as well. So let's keep trucking on with this stupid gun mount continually falling off. I actually don't, I've never tried to transform it with the, what's it called? The piece in here. I think you can probably keep this in here, but we're going to take it out anyway. So go ahead and pull out that gun piece. Close that back up. Open up this side. So again, when we transform back, you want to rotate the foot inward. And there's a stopper here, so make sure you don't push it too far. Rotate it all the way to the stopper and then rotate the same direction at the knee so that this rounded hinge piece comes up here. You want to lift this up and then we can pull out the wheel. So you need to pull out this folded section first, then pull the wheel all the way down. Make sure it goes past kind of the stopper ridge point, and then you can straighten out the other half of the wheel. And then you just basically jostle these two halves together, or three pieces together, until they're a single wheel. Push this in, and then just fold up the back. Again, this is where there's a clearance issue here. When you push this through, there's no real way to get this in without having some kind of interference here. So just be very careful and try to minimize that collision there. You might have better luck than I did. So when you lift this section up, you just need to fold this around like so. And again, put the gun mount back on because it keeps falling off. And that's one leg. Same thing with the other leg. Pull up on the circular piece like so. Raise that up. We're going to extend and open up the side of the foot. And then we can straighten out the spare wheel that was on the back. Flip this all the way out. And then again on this set of double hinges, rotate it all the way around until these ridges show up. All right, that should allow you to clear the seat, flipping out the headrest. And that seat should theoretically sit, there we go, sit flush back here with the, whatever it is, the bed. All right, with the ankle, remember to rotate it inwards and the knee inwards. Opening up this tab section here, opening this up. Flip out this section if you have the gun stored and just pop it out. We'll deal with this later. Close that back up, and then we can get the wheel out by pulling out this section of the wheel first, rotating the wheel out, and getting the second section out, and then just collapsing it all into place. All right, flip this up, flip this closed, get this tucked in, and then again, try as carefully as possible to rock this on the double hinges so you minimize the collision. I actually cleared it pretty easily that time. Maybe I was just doing it wrong all those other times. All right, so now we're basically done. From here, just make sure that your hips are pretty much straightened out, and you're going to rotate at this hinge down here where the gray piece is, not up here, down here. And you're going to rotate this down. Keep the legs untabbed for now. It's a lot easier to do it that way. Get this missile kind of, unfortunately, pointing directly at his crotch. Then you can close up the legs, remembering that this is an over-under tab, like so. Straighten out this section here. Then you can tab in that kind of console piece. And then coming around to the seat, just unfold it, flip it around, get it slid in, and then it does tab down. They'll lock everything in place. Same thing on this side, get the steering wheel up and out of the way, flip this up, get this around and in, and then tab in the seat, like so. And the gun mount falls out one last time, just because it wants to be frustrating. So then you can just untransform or reverse the transformation of the gun mount, like so. And as I said before, you can go ahead and, where's the gas tank? Oh, the gas tank in here can plug in. This is probably how I'm going to display it. I think the soft top, which happens to come out in like one episode, really isn't a useful accessory. So I'm not going to really use that for anything except maybe storing accessories. But yeah, hopefully you guys didn't find that to be too painful. I tried to be as detailed as possible because even though it is an intricate transformation, I think it is actually quite nice. You can go ahead and plug this back in. The one thing I will note is when you plug it back in, it's not just a perfect circle. There is a specific orientation for this tab. So try not to just jam it in. Make sure it's actually positioned correctly. Tab that in and flip out the back of the gun, like so. But really, this is it. The only downsides that I would say, again, for this guy are the paint. But in terms of overall quality, like tightness of the figure, feeling like it's very stiff, not loose and floppy all over the place, this guy is really nice. The last time I felt really that good about or really kind of impressed with the MP figure, I think is probably Sunstreaker. Which was kind of a while ago. I think he was like MP-39 or something like that. This one feels quite solid. I'm very happy with it. The only thing that is going to be a sticking point for a lot of folks is the fact that he's $160. And putting that into perspective, I paid like I think 150 or 120 or maybe something like that for MP Soundwave on the US release with all his cassettes. Much bigger figure. Also has a lot of accessories. So I don't, again, the pricing is what's making the MP line really less accessible and I think harder to justify more and more as we move on. Same thing with Black Arachnia, which I thought I scheduled the review to go live today at 7 p.m. I have no idea if it did or not. I was gone. But he's actually quite good. Again, if you guys want this guy, Toy Dojo, who I think it has been live in the comment section in the chat, does have some limited ones available right now. Obviously, it's the holidays, so they probably won't start shipping until the 26th. But you can go ahead and place an order with them. They're the ones that made this possible, so thank them again. I really want to see if this port would work for his foot, because I don't really understand why else they have that tab there, but it doesn't actually tab in securely. So sorry, I've been ignoring a lot of the comments, trying to get through this. I'll try to answer any more comments that you guys have while showing off some alt mode vehicles for those that are coming in late. But I'm very happy with this guy overall. I think if this guy was like 120 bucks, I think he's easily justifiable at 120. I think he feels really quite solid. His accessories are pretty fun overall, I would say, and they work really well. The engineering to make sure that you can keep the wheel on and keep the gun mount if you really want to, without with it falling off all over the place like it did. It's still kind of cool that they did that to allow you to store the gun. It's really quite nice. I could have done without the soft top, but whatever. Truth T-Man? Yeah. Funa says, I wonder why they made the minifigure bigger. Yeah, I don't understand why they would even bother doing this. So I'll show off the little one in the car seat. It obviously looks kind of ridiculous, but I don't know that we need a whole new minifigure in a different scale. Literally like three releases from when we got this one. Like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, pretend that he's Daniel or something like that? Daniel dressing up to be him? I don't know what we're supposed to do here. Power Wheel Spike. Thanks, Cobra Chalan? Clan? I guess maybe that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. That's Hound Spike. Yeah, so I don't know why they would do that. I would have preferred that they didn't even include this guy, unless this is going to be the new scale. Like, why even bother? And the holographic one, I don't know. I guess that's the nice one. The key, again, it's kind of nice, but we don't really need this if we don't have any other accessory. And we already have it with the Ocular Max one. So that's fine. We have the extra side view mirrors. We have the cone, which is kind of a fun thing. This is, I guess, kind of iconic. I remember there was a rumor, somebody was saying that you could flash a light through here and it would project a picture of that fake Autobot. And I was like, no, there's no way that they would be able to do that, right? Unfortunately, I do not see anything painted in here that would allow you to flash a light that would project an actual image of that. That would be a cool accessory, I'm not going to lie. If a third party did that, I might have to buy it, but it'd have to be pretty cheap. All right, any other... That Spike is the real scale? Well, if it's the real scale, T-Man, why doesn't it fit with any of their other figures? Like the B that we got or the MP-47. All right, so it doesn't look like there's any other questions. I will go ahead and... how much is the clearance on the Jeep? It has a decent amount of clearance. I'm sorry, I can't really show it, but it does have at least a few millimeters of clearance. But if you guys don't have any other questions right now, you can always leave them in the comment section of this video once it goes live. Once it gets posted on my channel, and I'll try to read some of those and any suggestions that you guys had about things you want to see in my full review. I'll try to make sure I get them added. Can that smaller spike? Yeah, he can. He also looks kind of ridiculous, to be honest. A little bit too. Like the steering wheel is huge. It's as big as his entire upper body. The larger one wouldn't be able to fit. Well, I don't know. You might be able to fit him in somehow if he's driving like side saddle or something. The scale actually probably would work a little bit better with him. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream review. I appreciate it. I know I had promised to go ahead and do the blast off review live stream before. Omar, I don't have Willis. I've already mentioned that. But obviously, I did Black Arachnia, and I had to do this since this was unexpected early arrival, and I'll probably have to do the full review. So expect the Ocular Mask Blast Off live stream sometime maybe this weekend if I'm not going out of town or anything like that. So thanks a lot, everyone. If you liked the live stream, if you liked the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Subscribe to keep up to date with all the things that I do. And thanks again to Toy Dojo for making sure we got this early. And hit that purchase button there. Merry Christmas, all.